And a good morning and a good evening to everybody. Hopefully, everybody is well today. Um, let me just get this thing. Now, I've been abandoned by my co host, Anthony. Um, I don't know why he does this. I mean, he's getting married again. No, all seriously, no. His elder son's getting married, so congratulations to Anthony's elder son. So anyway, we're going to get on with the show. We should make it interesting. Uh, Anthony won't be here next week either, so I'm going to have to wing it again. Apparently, he's going to that little funny island over off the west coast of mainland Europe called England, UK. I mean, I don't know why he wants to go there. All it is raining and miserable there all the time. Only joking to the English UK viewers. I'm going to say a quick hello to everybody here. We got let me Trayman 1, you want the cookie? Again, you got to fight the rabbit over that one. John, how are you? Welcome on board. Peyton, welcome on board. But I love your little layout, buddy. I wish I could do that. Bugger using the layout floor, the doing the what do you call it, bench work. Just lay the track on the layout, and you can adjust it the way you want it. You can expand it the way you want it. That's the best way to go. I love that. Curly White, how are you, buddy? Nice to see you in here. John Mystic, how are you? Scrapeyard Daryl, how are you, buddy? Welcome. Who else do I have in here? Trans Video Productions, g'day, buddy. Nice to welcome you in here as well. Ahoy Steel, how are you? Chris, how are you? Haven't seen you in here for a bit. And me good mate Plumber. I mean, you guys are all me good mates and whatnot. Let me get to the bottom of the chat. Oh, there he is. Hey, Anthony's in here. G'day, buddy. What is a part of getting boring for you? Is it? So you had to come in here. You have to shout over the music here. Well, tell them to shut the music down because you want to watch the show. I didn't send you the link, buddy, because I thought you just want to have some time to yourself, but I can send you the link in a sec. Rix, how are you? Steve PSAP, how are you, buddy? Tammy and Ray, how are you? Welcome on board. I'm getting there. I'm getting to the bottom of the chat. And hello to all the other people that are lingering on the background. Just give me a moment. I'm just gonna have to do this just in case he decides he wants to make us what do you call it, go deaf. I mean, we all going deaf eventually, but with the rap music. Yeah, I'll put everybody else's link later on to chat in. Great photos there. I'm not going to put them up without his permission, but the photos look really great. Kai, and oh man, he looks like a real gentleman too. Went to a good train show today. Was like a kid in a can. Oh, man, I wished we had a good train show here. I mean, Dwight could be a co-host. Yeah, yeah. We'd, I lost my track of thought. Yeah, Kai, and he was a real dressed up rock and roll gentleman. Postmodern, how are you? Welcome on board. it's been an interesting week. I have been catching up a bit of modelling. I'd like to thank everybody that came into our live stream last week. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. I try to do my best in showing a lot of things around in Sydney. I'll eventually get back up there. I will be now that the school holidays are over. I can go out next weekend. Next weekend, I'm going. Now that I'm allowed to drive, I'm going to continue on with my tour before it gets too hot. So next week, I am going to continue on in the northern suburbs. No, I can't hear and see. Well, yeah, I'll get that way too. Yeah, it was a great trip up. I mean, I enjoyed riding. I went for a ride in the Garrett. Some of you guys would have seen the videos I put in during this week. Oh man, that was a wicked ride. I mean, I'm going to do it again somewhere with it. We were hoping we didn't have to go fund me for you. Oh, look, I'm always getting arrested, Tammy. You know that. I mean, when you got a co-host like a fantastic co-host like me, he just wants to see blood and guts. But anyway, I'm going to go further up north. Continue on with my history tour of my area, and it's railway related. It was put on hold mainly because of the weather that we had when I started it. We had a lot of bad weather, as the long time viewers want to remember. We were getting flooded, we were getting lots of rain, and the areas where I want to go up into, basically we were told to stay away because of risk of landslides and mudslides and so forth. So from next week, before it gets too hot, I'm going to head up there and start doing the rest of my tour. So you guys who won't be able to make it down here but do intend to come here but can't really make it, I'm going to go and continue on with the trip. Hopefully it'll be interesting. Yeah, good thing we didn't do another GoFundMe for Artie. Last one we did, he got it. Love you too, peace out. Yeah. No, I'm toying with this idea. Just a little bit of assistance. I did put up a post there for a top secret fund. G'day, Randall. How are you? Postmodern, it's not as bad as what people make it out. I mean, geez, you look at it, we don't have animals that go around sneaking in the middle of the night and hunting you down to eat. Anyway, I put out on my community post a top secret fund, whether I should do it or not. Let me know whether you do want to or not. It's going to advantage everybody that's been following me in some form. There'll be surprises of some form. If you're interested in doing it, if you think it's worthwhile me doing it, just let me know through that. Now, I am going to start this a little bit early. I'm going to send an invite to people to come up. I am a little bit restricted at the moment how many people I can have up. Financially this week has been a little bit tight for me. So I've only can get 6 people up here. We cannot get the Brady Bunch squares up here this time round. I just haven't been able to update my bill. Just things out of my control. It's life comes into life problems gets in the way, if you understand what I mean. Okay, now my modelling project that I've been doing on my passenger cars has slowly come together. I fixed up most of my boo-boos on them. I need to do another one. These instructions on this kit is very bare minimum. You don't pay for transit. I do, but Steve, look, let's not get into that here now, okay? I just got Bill's Cool or hobby budgets. It's not so much for the hobby as such, postmodern. I've got things I want to do, and it's to basically, it's not just for me, it's for everybody. Okay, so it's not so much as a competition, but it's just a helping hand. But no, as some of you guys know from when I started, I've been on workers' comp, and they don't always pay your bills on time, and they don't reimburse you in time. So you've got to sit and wait. You know what insurance companies are like, paying out the money they're supposed to. They're very, very slow. But yeah, the train trip on the Garrett was fantastic. I'll go back and like, g'day, Jason, how are you? The train trip on that Garrett was fantastic. I did put up videos of it. Now, we went along the South Coast line from Sydney to basically end of the basically to Hurstville, which is a section of track where you've got 4 lines. So you have basically your 2 express lines and 2 suburban lines. And because it's a weekend, the suburban lines don't great, Tammy. Okay. Now, though the passenger car that I was traveling in, they were used back at the diesel days of diesel haul carriages, or passenger trains. And there's a grade that comes out of Tempe or near Walleye Creek just before it, and it's a long climb. It's nearly a 10 to 15 mile climb. It's a long climb, and it starts just shy of 1% and gets to about 1.5%. And with the old diesels and some of the old electrics, they actually struggle to maintain a good speed. But I was just amazed. Like the Garrett, the guys, I take my hat off to them. That Garrett was driven like a race car. I mean, as soon as they got through the turnouts or whatnot, they just basically just like flooring it, and they gave it all it's got. And boy, did it rocket up that grade. That was the quickest I ever went up that grade in one of those carriages. It gives you an idea of the grunt that it had. It had, the train was pulling, I think it was 6 or 8 passenger cars, the heavy ones that we had, as well as having the Alco on the end. I could do an Australian grocery shop and lots of toilet paper. I still got plenty of toilet paper here, Tammy. I still got lots to. Tammy, I mean, you've already done that before my surgery, and I tell you what, Eddie, you can read a bit. Yeah, I probably could, but I'm a very slow reader there, Daryl. G'day, Randall. How are you, buddy? Nice to see you alive. I suppose you got 10 minutes to spare.
Yeah, I got a few minutes.
How are you, buddy?
Tired.
I bet you had that long trip, and then you're working for Simi Mart, and
yeah. What did a 12-hour yard shift last night, and then had to do a quick turnaround and come back to work here at Walmart. So,
well, look at all the money you're going to make. You can build yourself a new train shed.
Yeah. Put new siding on the house too.
Yeah. One ply toilet paper. Actually, come to think of it, a lot of our toilet paper is about 3 ply, and yeah, I think I'll get a fair bit out of a roll there. I mean, Jason. Well, I'm not up to that yet. I've done a bit of I stuck my head into the training room last night, and I'm thinking maybe I should rearrange the track work. Oh, here she is. The person that's missing in action is too shy to show the face on the screen. Hello, Robin. How are you, darling?
Hi, everybody. I'm pretty good.
Hey, Robin.
Hi, Randall. How's work going?
It's going.
Yeah.
I'm on my lunch break right now, so.
Oh, okay. Are you enjoying it, or?
Well, it's a job. I'll say that.
Oh, okay.
It's a job. It's a job. It'll pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've got to do what we've got to do, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But talking about the Garrett, I definitely will go for another ride on the Garrett. Hopefully on a longer trip. I mean, it was worth the ride. I mean, it did cost me roughly it cost me $33 to go on it, and it wasn't a bad run to go from Central to Hurstville and back is roughly about an hour, and I managed to capture the video going up. G'day, Ray, how are you? I managed to get the video going up and coming back down. It was so funny. There was this young couple in front of me with a kid, and I don't know what it is with trains. When it gets to a certain point, it puts the kids to sleep. And this young fella fell asleep, and I did get a shot of the train coming out, pulling out of Hurstville. And I'm trying to conserve my battery and whatnot for my trip home on the train because I used up the power during the live stream. So I put the camera down, the phone down, and enjoying the view at the old carriage because it's been I haven't been in one of those carriages since 84, I think it was 1984, along that line. So it's a long time. Well, my eyes ended up copying what the young fella did, and I went to sleep. Now, when we got to the return trip, was almost like an authentic trip to what the South Coast trains had to deal with when they got back to Central. Now, we have a duck under for our line that goes underneath the Western Suburban lines. And because it was a grand final, they had 4 trains running out of Central Station going to Homebush, where the for people not familiar with Sydney, is where the Olympic Stadium is. That's where they was holding the grand final. It's roughly about a 20-minute train trip, I think, thereabouts. But they had 4 trains running it, continually coming out of the platform. All up, I think they had 8 trains. So they gave them priority, and we were sitting, and we sat. I say we sat for a good half hour just before the tunnel that goes underneath the. I can't remember. Is it six lines there or 8 lines there, Robin? I think it's 8 lines, isn't it?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Something like that. 6 or 8 lines we're going under, but we were sitting there and we were sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting. It's like, oh, cool. Going back to sleep.
I can't believe you slept on a Garrett trip.
But it was so smooth. Like it was a downhill run. I mean, I already dozed off by the time we got the Cochrane on a downgrade. But mind you, I did have a big day. I mean, I did get up 5 in the morning. I did get up 5 in the morning, so it was a long day. I mean, the train trip was at 3:30. But it was. G'day, Tammy. How are you?
Hey.
Hey, Tammy.
Hey.
You don't want to talk to me anymore.
Oh, see, now you're going to get the dog starting to bark, and I'm going to have to mute it.
My dog's sitting behind me snoring. Can you believe it?
Yeah, well, it was same with my little one. She just decided she's going to scoot outside.
The only time my brother's dogs bark is when you drive by his house. So,
Right.
Well, I got my dad's dog. He's going home tomorrow. Thank God.
So put him. I've got a spare box here. I can send it over to you. Put him in a box and send him home.
Hey, Ollie. Oh, Ray's here now. He's saying hey to everybody.
G'day, hey, Ray. How are you, champion? Hope you're doing well.
You doing okay?
You're going on a big trip this week too, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I'm so happy.
You're going for a train trip up to Timonium.
Yes. Yes, sir.
You looking forward to it?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a little.
Is it a long way?
It's equivalent to going from my place to your place by train. Or from Sydney to Brisbane. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That is a good trip.
Yeah. G'day, Eric. How are you, buddy? But it's not fair. I'm jealous, right? I'm jealous, Ray. You can stay home. I'm going up because I always want to catch that train. How's that sound?
Yes.
Oh, you like that? You can stay home and I take your place?
No, that's not a good idea. Don't say no, Ray.
So you want Artie to go and you stay home?
No.
He said, no, I'm going.
Oh, well done.
I wouldn't take that fun away from you, Ray. I might be a meanie and a bad person, but I'm not that mean and nasty. Trust me. If it was PSAP, well, we'll just tie him on the. If it was a Steve PSAP, well, we'll just tie him up on the roof of the train and let him get blown as he's getting go for a trip on the train.
I'm hoping it's going to be like what Mr. Ray said to us. It's a 2-seat, and then the aisle. So I'll put Ray near the window, sit Mr. Ray next to him, and I'll sit behind him.
And you can whip them both into place when they misbehave, right?
No, I'm just going to say, tag, you're it, Mr. Ray.
I've got a cattle prong here you can borrow when they both misbehave. You just zap them a bit from behind, you know.
Oh, I saw a comment from Train Video Productions. I guess he was asking Ray what's wrong with his voice. For Train Video Production, if you don't know, Ray has autism, and he was born 16 weeks early and had a tracheostomy for the first 3 years of his life, and his airway had to be rebuilt. So that's just how he sounds.
Hey, Daryl.
G'day, Daryl.
Hello, everybody.
How are you? Yeah, I mean,
hey, Jeff.
He almost.
Hey, Ray. How you doing, buddy?
You doing okay?
That's good. Good to hear your voice, my friend.
Been a long time, Daryl.
Yeah, he's almost like my stepdad. He's almost like my stepdad.
Andy, Ohio,
when
Robin, Steve,
he had a lump
Ohio.
that was pushing on the esophagus, and they had to basically rebuild.
And Sierra.
And it was right near the vocal cord. G'day, Andy Dobson. How are you?
Yeah, they had asked us a few years ago if we wanted to. They could go in there because what they did is they broke one of his ribs and used his rib to expand his airway.
Yeah.
And when they did that, it pushed up against one of his vocal cords and it made it real raspy. And he's always been that way. And if you get to know him long enough, you can pretty much understand what he's trying to say. They were willing to try to straighten out the vocal cords, but then there was a chance he'd lose his voice completely. And I was like, nah, it ain't worth it.
No. Now, I believe Ray will confirm this. Are you guys going on the Crescent on the way up?
I think that's the one that it is.
So you guys will be able to say, I believe, if correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on that time of the day, you guys will be traveling all during daylight. You're not going to have any night.
I know.
Because the Crescent comes through. I know Crescent that comes through Spartanburg roughly about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Please don't remind me.
Yeah, but Spartanburg's further away from you.
No, we have to be on the train at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, so that means it's about 4 o'clock in the morning when it gets to where I am. Now, yeah, because see, that's I always miss it. But then again, it may be late. You could be sitting on the platform for about 2, 3, 4 hours. Hopefully not. But I remember, I mean, that's a train trip I do want to go. So you'd be able to slap you can be able to slap Plumber on the way up too, eh?
I don't think so. We're just meeting him when we're up there.
Yeah, but the Crescent goes through his town.
Oh, well, I'll wave.
Yeah, you wave, you slap him on the head and go, "Hey, wake up!"
Yeah.
Okay, the last person to come up. Another one that is too shy to show his face. Mr. Peyton, how are you?
Pretty good.
Hey, Peyton.
Hey, Peyton.
But I mean, it'd be a nice trip. I mean, going up through. I mean, I've done it by road going up north. Followed most of the line up that the Crescent travels on. Here he is. And it's amazing view going up. But same as here, like the train lines will end up goes through places where the roads don't. So it's going to be a great, great trip. Talking about slapping the Plumber, here he is. Here, wake up.
Ah, what is up?
And he's in the dark. Another person that's shot.
Randall.
Hey, wait, Plumber.
If you're taking the Crescent, Tammy, it should be coming up past Manassas Station.
Okay, so stand out there so I can throw something at you.
So Friday, you said you're boarding at what time?
5:30.
Okay, so I will open my Amtrak rail map and check out where you guys are at when I wake up. Friday morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was kidding, but okay.
I mean, if listen, I may have left for Maryland by the time, your train passes the station. But if I can be here and like wave at you guys going by, that would be awesome.
Oh, you better have Charles with you.
I mean, naturally, because it does stop at Manassas Station also.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's one of the stops. I catch it weekly almost.
You know what would be a funny video?
What's that?
Tammy coming up and waving, "Hey, I'm here, bye."
Oh man, that would actually be good. If I could catch that, that would be sweet.
That would be the quickest visit that anybody's ever done. But we can make Guinness Book of Records there, Tammy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like the collect call visit,
Yeah.
No, that will probably be right up there with Digger's mugshot that Corey put up.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
I haven't seen that one yet. I'll have to have a look at that.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious, Artie.
But they're saying we're going to get up to Baltimore by 3
in the afternoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm probably going to be up there before noon, so I probably will not be able to catch you guys going by.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
But that
Good.
depends whether whether the train's running on time. We all know how Amtrak runs with their timetables.
That
Oh,
that
I
is
don't
true.
know. I've never been on one.
Well, so Amtrak is supposed to get the right of way, but the freight people have found loopholes in putting Amtrak in the sidings while they pass. So that happens a lot.
I remember the last trip when I was in the US in Spartanburg in 2019, and I was heading back to the airport at Greenville Spartanburg Airport. And because it comes through Spartanburg about 4 o'clock in the morning, I always get to miss it. And driving on the road, because instead of taking the highway or the motorway to get from where I normally am, I can follow the train track. And guess what was parked up there? It was a southbound Crescent parked up, sitting idle. I found out later that there was a drama of some sort, or something was going on further down the track. It was like 5 hours late. I thought it depends where.
Jason, yeah, I just read that, dude. That made me giggle, Jason. That's hilarious.
Yep.
And
What
and
did I
that's what I hear. Split Rock. The freight trains are too long.
Yeah.
People have kind of shortened some of their trains up here recently. Here on the third sub, they're not as long as they used to be.
depends.
What was
I
that?
ain't
Tim?
wearing no depends, Jason. They better have bathrooms.
Well, I think he was making the comment when I was saying it depends on when you pass.
Over here, they did try to put long passenger trains along my line here, but they said no.
No, they got the trucks that can do that.
Yeah.
Now they are still running the double empties here, so putting the two coal trains together and running. Yeah, they're putting the two coal trains together, but for whatever reason they're doing it there, and I don't know why.
Yeah,
they'll run them as two separate trains from Memphis to Thayer, and then they'll put them together at Thayer and run them to Springfield. So
maybe it has to do with weight or something.
Maybe.
Well, if I would not want to be trying to put two trains together at Thayer because you're going uphill as you're leaving town. So,
But at the end of the day, when you look at the rail system, the rail network in the United States compared to, say, Australia, UK, and Europe, you guys don't really have a public transport system, particularly on rail. Okay, you got the Amtrak, but you don't have that much commuter traffic.
yeah.
Compared to what we have here in UK and Europe. I mean, passengers is what comes first. Over in US, it's freight.
Well, no. The legality is it's supposed to be passenger service first, but the long freight trains and stuff like Split Rock was saying.
Yeah.
Well, see, they can kind of get away with it here because there's no passenger trains that runs here on the third sub. So
yeah.
We don't have Amtrak or any other passenger service.
You see, on our busiest corridor here is the Sydney Melbourne Rail Corridor. That's the busiest, and what they done there when you get to, I'm just trying to think of it, MacArthur Shopping Centre, which is Campbelltown, which is just on the fringe of the Sydney network. What they've done is they kept the passenger lines, the regional lines, and then they've done a dedicated freight line for freight trains only. So now the freight trains will not, interrupt the flow of the passenger trains. Now they've also done the same thing with the main north line that takes us north to Brisbane, because that's our second busiest rail corridor in this state. they've actually put a dedicated freight line there too. That starts off roughly around about Hornsby. So I haven't been up there since I finished doing done the dedicated rail line there, but they've done that all the way down to Strathfield or Homebush or near the Sydney Market. So it's got its own dedicated freight line there too.
Gotcha.
Because that's the way. Well, over here in the city, that's the only way you're going to move the volume of people. And the Sydney network or the Sydney train network is actually pretty big. If I do an equivalence in United States, it will be like going between people in South Carolina will probably know. It'll probably be like having Spartanburg in the middle, and you're taking Charlotte and Atlanta all included, including Chattanooga. So it's a big area where you can actually go in the network.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Yeah, that sounds massive.
Yeah.
If you're talking from Charlotte to Chattanooga to Atlanta back to Spartanburg.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
That's how big the commuter traffic corridor is in Sydney or in this state. The main corridor. I'm not including all the regional centre. That's just the main. It's within about 2-3 hour train trip. The longest train trip is about 3 hours. I'll try and expedite freight cars, taking some of their. Well, yeah. Well, that's it, Dave. You're basically playing with fire, but there was a guy, Robin knows him, and they did say, I can't remember whether it's, they were doing a study on passenger trains, and they said that there is no money in passenger trains, that the government always needs to subsidise. G'day, matey, how are you? Rainy from Gold Coast. It's beautiful here at the moment, buddy. I need to get back to your email. I've got to give you my personal email address. Sorry, I'll be flat out. I did wave to you, but I didn't see you last weekend. His comment was, passenger trains don't really make money. It's only there to provide a service because they always make a loss on it in some form or another. So United States is going by the way of, we're going to keep our freight trains. Amtrak decided we're going to get in a bit of that freight to make up the money because they don't get the big subsidies over there like they do here. But, yes, Marty. I know you were at the convention, and when I realised that I need to register and anything else, it was way too late, and I had just been released to be able to drive, and having to get up to that area now, since I've taken the train service out, it's a pain to get to. So I thought, no, I'll give it a miss. We'll catch up soon. Yeah, but it's interesting. I'd like to go on the Crescent. I want to do the full run from New York down to New Orleans and back up again. That's one of them, and then the other one is what is it? Is it Metro, Meteor, or whatever, the one that goes from from New York down to Miami. Can't think of the name of the train now. The Silver Metro or Metro Line or something like that. It's called. But I'd like to go into that. That's another one. That's the second one. The second one on the list. And the one that goes from Boston to Chicago, Lakeshore Limited, because that's 2 trains in one. Government doesn't make money; they take money. Well, yeah, Dave, they do, and yeah, um, but yeah, the North Shore, the shoreline, that becomes one. That's two trains in one. They actually put it together as a you got one set that comes out of New York, another one out of Boston, and it gets put together or pulled apart at Albany. So there'll be a train trip I'd like to actually be on.
Well, I know around here, Artie, they have started, especially in the Charlotte area, they started that light rail system.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of the Amtrak customers away because they made it so large that it will go from downtown Charlotte to University City out to Matthews and Monroe. So it encompasses a large area and almost comes down to the state line in Pineville to Indian Land. So people just aren't using the Amtrak as much anymore because they have the light rail system to go on.
And it's more frequent.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It is cheaper. Silver metal. That's right. Thank you, Train Video Production. I knew it was something. I knew it was silver M something. Sorry, I'm still weaning off the medication.
Did you see there's a new tourist railway opened up along the old Bellarine railway? It's called Q Train because they're using a lot of the Queensland Railways coaches. They've restored them all.
No, I didn't.
It's just basically a dinner trip. But yeah, it's on some beautiful countryside down there in Victoria.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Q Train looks pretty good.
I haven't heard about it, but yeah, there is some nice countryside down there. One thing I like that I have down in Melbourne is one thing I liked about Melbourne is they kept some of the old W model trams, or as Americans call them, trolleys. And they've actually got 4 now, and they're restaurant cars. And you get on, I think it is either Flinders Street Station or now it's called Southern Cross. You go on it, and you get a 3-course dinner on it or 4-course dinner on it. And what it does, it goes through the city, takes you out through the sites, and it's a good 2-3 hour trip. Takes you all the way down to St Kilda, which is you got the beach promenade there, and not as raunchy what it used to be, but I mean, it takes you through the nice areas, and then it takes you down to Port Melbourne, up past Coburg Jail, I believe, maybe not, but it does take you out through what used to be part of the industrial area. Now you've got the casinos and what they call it now. They've got a new name for that suburb now. G'day, Mike. How are you?
They've been doing trips like that, I think, in Bendigo, or is it Bendigo or Ballarat, where they've got the trams. They've been running them for quite some years.
Yeah.
Down there, we were going to go on one, but the timing wasn't good, so we had to just go on a normal trip around. I think it's Bendigo, where they've got the tram museum. So
Yeah, we had some of the trolleys around here, but again, when the light rail system came through, it pulled all the trolleys off. And the trolleys now, when we used to rail fan a lot, they've turned them into restaurants.
are they moving restaurants?
Oh yeah, you can go in there, and they've pretty much gutted them, and you can go in and sit and have meals I guess I know they have one out in Belmont, North Carolina. They have a couple in North Carolina, but I think the biggest one is up near Asheville.
Okay, so they actually run them.
The one in Asheville does.
Oh, okay.
So the one in Nashville is a new one, then, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that wasn't running when I was here last.
Mm-mm.
Does that
Nope. And they've done that with the cabooses down here too. They've taken a lot of the local cabooses and turned them into restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, goodness.
That's good, Marty. But there are a few of the W model trams in the US as well as Europe as well, because I remember in the early days of truck driving when I was living in Melbourne, we were taking them down to the wharf for export. Because that's they actually got saved. They got taken overseas. But you see, it's a funny thing, like with what I mentioned last week in Sydney. Sydney actually had a huge trolley or tram network. It actually had the biggest one in the country. It was actually bigger than the one in Melbourne in its day. But some bean counters in government decided we don't need them. We'll just rip all the tracks up or rip up some of the track. And I believe they took them out in the 60s. Marty, you'll correct me, Marty, or not. Somewhere in the they took them out. And here we are, back getting them back. Now they're bringing them back in again. When they did Broad Street, they actually come across a lot of the old track they didn't remove because they actually pulled it. They buried it and pulled over the top. So it's not running into the old track work.
Yeah, they're still finding that in Brisbane where they're doing a lot of the restoration work on some of the roads and finding all the old tram track. And it's interesting because the trams were done away with in the 60s, and I remember they sold a lot off. A lot of them were just burnt. They just set fire to them. Some of them were put out as reefs out in Moreton Bay. But there was one that was bought by a petrol station about halfway down to the Gold Coast, and it was just stable. They took the wheels off it and everything, and they turned it into the tram burger shop. So you didn't get a hamburger, you got a tram burger.
Yeah, I remember that place. I remember that one.
Photos coming up of that in some of the historical Facebook pages, which is quite amazing because we used to go there quite regularly. Yeah, we passed the tram museum up here in Sutherland and Loftus. I'll tell you what, that museum there looks very, very sad. I know they got hit with a bad fire many years ago, but it looks very sad, very run down. I haven't been to the one in Brisbane at Fernvale. They've got a very limited run, though that's the drama. So they don't have a lot of space. But anyway.
In some ways, it's nice seeing the trams coming back into Sydney because I was way too young to ever see him running in Sydney. And g'day, Thomas. But it's nice to see that bringing them back. The trams that actually go from Central Station goes to Darling Harbour, and that's now taken up a lot of the old freight lines that went through Darling Harbour.
Oh, absolutely.
Up around Balmain and some of the other areas, and it's actually taken up a lot of the old freight line. Well, it's not being used anymore.
They've knocked on the idea of having light rail in Brisbane, which is a bit silly, I thought. But anyway, they've done it, and they're just going to concentrate on just buses now, which is a bit silly. But anyway.
Yeah, but when you look at, I think they're looking at the expense of putting the track work in, particularly like what Sydney's been going through. It's too expensive to put that infrastructure in. Sydney ended up having a problem because of the way the system, this new system is, particularly up near the Circular Quay end. I don't know how bad Brisbane is, but there was a lot of stuff that has not been documented in plans. There was cabling and plumbing and tunnels and all this other infrastructure that's been there since day dot. Well, since we had electricity and water and plumbing and whatnot. And that really blew out the what do you call it? The budget in laying down the track, particularly along George Street.
Mm.
Man, even here in Wollongong, believe it or not, I worked on a couple of job sites here, and we still are digging up stuff near the city from the original coal train lines. We're digging up what do you call it? The slings, the cables, and the old tracks and the old ties, in people's backyards. It's been left there buried under about 3-4 foot of dirt. And then they're scratching their heads. Where did this come from? Well, there used to be a railway line that went up to the mountain. And the carriages.
Hey, Darryl, are you still on board?
You there, Daryl? Oh,
Lost Daryl.
No, I'm here. I'm just running. I'm just listening and running trains.
Yeah.
I'll go.
You told me about those cameras.
Yeah.
They're really expensive here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to run that way. I just can't afford them.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Yeah, I have to keep.
I remember Artie giving you some different thoughts.
Yeah, he was. But just to let you know, I've also picked up a couple of Lazy Susans. I'm going to try and motorize one, but then I'll do one with a scenery mod. Yeah, I think it was such a great idea.
Lucky they went to Lazy Barbies.
Well, these are really cheap in Kmart.
I was going to tell you right quick, Artie. I did get to go to the club display yesterday. We got to make the Aurora Miniatures SD60F sweat a little bit.
Oh, cool.
So you in the club, Randall? Obviously.
Yeah, it's called the West Plains Mall Railroad Club. They have a YouTube channel of the same name, so if you search up West Plains Mall Railroad Club, you should find them. So, they've got 3 layouts operating this year. They've got 2 HO and an O scale layout operating. So they have the big HO, the small HO, and then the O scale layout.
Gee, it must have a big.
Well, the O scale layout that operates during the October display is a much more downsized version of what the Christmas display has. So,
okay.
Hey,
and
Darryl,
it's not a Christmas
up
either.
on Lazy Susans, you need to get commission.
What's that?
I said if the stock market goes up with the people buying Lazy Susans, you need to get a commission.
Yeah, right. Actually, I've seen a couple people pop up and doing the Lazy Susans, which I've never seen anybody. I mean, I've seen them do something like that, but yeah, no.
You started a new trend now there, Daryl. You're gonna have to trademark it as Daryl's Lazy Susans.
There you go. Yeah.
Let's see how fast we can spin them.
That's right. No, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun building it, and I think on one of my live streams I might be doing one like that.
It's a brilliant idea.
So,
Brilliant.
yeah.
I use one of those little turntables now that I bought a yard sale for my reviews now when I review locomotives and freight cars. So
Yeah, no, they work out really, really well.
just
I
got
thought it
fun.
was something really different and really unique, and yeah.
Not anymore.
So, thank you for the love. Yeah, I know, absolutely. No, I was just sitting in already, just listening to everybody. I was just switching cameras. That's the nice thing. I mean, I can do a Jack style. I can just let my trains run and let it speak for itself.
Okay. Just hold on. Just keep the show going for 2 seconds. I'll keep you on the screen. I just
Yeah,
got to run.
let me.
Hey, Artie, I'm gonna have to drop out anyway. It's about time for me to go back to work. So,
Yeah, go back. Mate, go back.
All right.
We
Take
need to
care.
take
See you later, Randall.
All right, we'll see you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.
So have you, Daryl, have you ever done any like workshops on how you do that scenery, the rock work behind you?
That was all done by me by hand carving, with only actually a couple tools. A chisel and a very thick blade knife and maybe a screwdriver.
Oh,
That's pretty much it. That's how I carved it out.
So did you layer like a thick layer of plaster and then sort of cut at it, or?
Yeah, this is I'm trying to think, what is it that I use? It's not it's I think it is plaster of Paris, but I get it in the big bags, and I just mix it up to where once it starts to warm up and it starts to harden up, that's when I just kind of like throw it on the side, and that's exactly when I start carving it out before it actually gets super, super hard, because the plaster of Paris, once it starts hardening, it gets really, really hard to carve. So after it's kind of hardened up, I'm able to go in and kind of fine detail it, and then I just mix up another batch, plaster it on, and just go from there. And some of these, like some of these areas, like in here, that stick out and come out quite a bit, those are actually overlays of what I did earlier. So you get like a variance, and it's kind of like the same thing here. It's a lot of thought process. It really, really is. But in the end, I think it came out pretty nice, and it shows well.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, when you go to weather your rock, you really can't see until you weather it. And if you weather it really heavy, it sure can make a mess out of things. I mean, I think my first try, I weathered it too heavy, and it just didn't look right. So I've always learned now to start off light, really light, and then go dark.
And multiple washes?
Yeah. Now the washes were in like a spray bottle. So what I would do I would have like 3 or 4 washes. So what I would do is I'd mix up like a burnt umber, maybe a little bit of yellow, some grays, and I would just go in and just kind of like shoot it, and just let it
ride.
Yeah, let it ride. And then after I was satisfied with that, I took a bottle of black ink wash and then light, and then I went all over it. When it was all dry, that's when I come in and highlight it, just in certain areas.
I think that's a mistake that most people make, isn't it? You've got to let it dry between coats, because between applications, otherwise the next wash just mixes in with the one on top.
Yeah, and even though it was all done, I went over it all with white glue, and I brushed the white glue all over everything to kind of seal it. It seems to work okay, but there's sometimes I might get next to it and I touch it, and then it just it comes off.
Dave.
So it's hey Dave.
But you also got to take into account, depends on what you want to represent or what area you want to represent, because your cliff faces and your colours are different from region to region. See, when I see what you got there, it reminds me of being in that part of the United States, like going up through the mountains through in the back of back of LA, and just going out west, particularly heading up towards the Grand Canyon. You've got a lot of that sort of a colour with your cliff faces. But when you go here along my line, we've got a lot of the blue rock that's gone black over time. And to get those colours right, you get a bit of goldness in it as well, you see.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I do a lot of experiments with mine, using photographs from different areas to get the rocks about right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And like I said, I did it only with a couple tools, and it's one of those things that I really should do like a tutorial on. There's a lot of things that people have asked me, hey, I don't see any how to on your. So I think this year when it's finally cools down again, it got hot here in Southern California this week. I'm going to be doing some tutorials, quick tutorials on how to do that, and because the rock work
give you an idea. Let me give you an idea, since you want to do the tutorials here, Daryl.
Yeah.
How about you coming over here and demonstrating it on my layout?
Typical Artie.
You're not that far away. You're just on the other side of the big puddle.
Yeah. No, I know. And you gotta, and the other part of it is you kind of study what geologically rock work looks like in canyons like this, and they kind of got there's a formation, there's a pattern. So I tried to remember when I was doing this to have the rock work where it was cut right here, kind of blend in what's going on down here, because they blasted through this area to get this rock cut, to have the trains go underneath the cliff. So, I try to remember to keep the lines as straight as possible, as if it was a part of a mountain. So,
wow. Yeah. I like seeing what other people are doing as far as some of the scenery ideas. And when I did a workshop in Sydney, I actually did little dioramas of scenery from all different places, even a little model of the Grand Canyon, believe it or not, and a Swiss Alps scene to show the differences in colours, because I don't think sometimes people get that about the colours.
But you see, funny, because another thing is, when I look at the colours that you got in there, believe it or not, under Sydney itself, if you cut a hole inside Sydney, it's that colour. It's a real sandy stone colour. Yeah. I don't have any pictures, but you see some. I remember when you worked at the airport tunnel project, and when I seen shots or whatnot from under the ground when they were boring, it was like that. That's the colour of the sand that was being dug out from under the city.
Thank you, Dave. Crooked River.
I think it's nice too, because you've got all of that that rubble that sits in the gaps, like where they've dug it out, just let the rocks all fall down the embankment, and that just finishes it off really nicely.
Yeah. And the other thing is, well, okay, I'm not that prototypical, but if you do want to get prototypical and realistic with your scenery, you got to take an account to a certain degree what area you're going into, how much erosion you got, how it was originally dug out, and so forth. Like along my line here, the South Coast line was originally a single track, and there's one portion of the track just outside of Waterfall Station. It's hard now to get a photo of it, but when I've done the irrigation,
hey Artie, put me up big. Artie, put me up big again.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, so the trains are going by. So if you notice in this area right here, there's kind of like the canyon kind of rock faces there, and it stops. Well, when it rains, you'll see a little bit of whiting the whiting color on the walls, that kind of gives it an indication that's where water has been falling. Well, now you can see it. And when water, when water dries up, that's what you get. You get that kind of whitish effect. And I wanted to make sure that I created that, because it goes underneath the the bridge. Yeah. So, um,
and with a bit of moisture in that area, you've got all the greenery growing in under there. So it's a bit of a trap, isn't it, for foliage? Yeah, that's brilliant. We all learn, don't we, from all these things? I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, the scenery work is good.
Because I'm going to see if we can get up to where it used to be the single tunnel. Because what they'd done was cheaper for them to dig a cutting, and then doing a separate tunnel. And in this cutting, you can still see the brickwork from the original tunnel, but it was all dug up by hand. But then when you look at the carvings in the rock, it's a lot different to where, say, in the last 20, 30 years they've been digging at, because you now see in a lot of cuttings, you'll see what you call it, boreholes, where they actually drilled into the rock and blasted it, and you get those lines like what you see similar to what
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to stop the train. My wireless handheld took a dump. The batteries are dead. So I kept turning it down slowly and slowly and slowly, and she wasn't responding. When I looked down, my handheld was blank, so which means the batteries took a dump. So I actually had to shut the system down to shut the train off. So you can take me down now. But thank you, everybody. No, thank you, Jason, Dave.
Yeah, no, it's great. I can't wait to do my scenery, but I need to fine tune my layout. I'm just trying to see if there's a photo in this cutting.
I love doing scenery work.
I do too.
I've seen some of your scenery. It's really nice, and I love that castle that you've been working on.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, she takes it out. She takes it to another level.
Is there any point in doing like a layout build? Like I'm seriously thinking about continuing with that layout that I started for Billy. And I'm thinking about getting it finished in his memory. And that will be a fairly big task. It's all HO, Australian. Do you think people would be interested in seeing that progress, or?
Oh yeah, I will be.
I think you need to do it for yourself. If it's something that you want to finish, if people like it, they like it. If they don't, that's okay. You're doing it for you.
Yeah, I've never really had that sort of issue. I always do it. Yeah, but I mean, I lost Billy in January, and I've been a bit tormented over it, whether to finish it or just leave it. But I got so far with this thing. It would be a good idea to get it done.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
The other thing is Robin, you need to keep your mind occupied. You need to keep your mind occupied too.
I've got plenty of model commissions and stuff that I'm doing at the moment, and my own NSCAR layout. But yeah, it'd be good to work on this other one because we did all those buildings and everything for it. So yeah, quite a collection of models that Billy made, like his handmade locomotives and rolling stock. So it's just otherwise it's just going to sit in a cupboard and not do anything, and that's a shame, I think.
I just like doing different.
Doing different
is good.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of. I've got one of these books from Robin, and I'm just seeing if I can seek photo of the cutting that I was talking about. Because it'll be in here somewhere, I think.
Okay.
Because I remember there's a photo in the book of when they actually dug out the cutting by hand. Man, I've got to
Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off too because I got to get the boys their meds and settle everything down.
No
Okay,
worries.
thank you very much for joining us, Tammy. It was a lot of fun having you on here as usual.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. Bye bye. Yeah, I'm just trying to find the photos. It'd be here somewhere because I remember it was in one of these books. I need to go exploring up to the top end, up where the old Helensburgh station and line is. But we gradually get up there. There's a
All right,
lot.
guys, I gotta. Sorry, Artie, I gotta go. I gotta deal with something outside. So, all right, everybody. Good night.
Okay, buddy. Yeah.
Carol,
Talk to you all
I'm
later.
going to start off pretty soon too. No, it doesn't happen. Oh, here it is. Here's the cutting. Let me just make myself big. Now, this is when they were duplicating. This is when they were duplicating. It's going to be hard to see, but this is when they were duplicating the line. Now, that tunnel porthole where you see the brickwork towards the edge of that wall there, you can still see it when you take the train through the tunnel to this day. And that's how it was finished. And that was all dug up reasonably by, most of it was done by hand because it didn't have all the fancy excavators and machinery that we have today. And that's what it looks like now. That's what it looks like roughly now.
I remember that.
Pardon?
I remember that. We took some photos down there. Really nice.
Sadly, we can't get in. We can't get up there anymore. And we can thank the illegal dumpers for that because they were dumping a lot of illegal. They were dumping a lot of waste. But that was dug out in 1914 when they dug the cutting out.
There, isn't it?
Pardon?
The cutting is still there.
Yeah, you still go through it. It's your first big cutting when you come out of Waterfall Station heading towards Wollongong. And that's not, and the Tangara actually, you remember that waterfall accident that we had recently?
Yeah.
That was just, it was behind the camera, basically. No, sorry. No, it was on the other side of that, on the other side of that tunnel portal is where it was. Yeah, and that was all dug out by hand. There was a lot of spots around here. Also, let's have a look. Well, I'll get up into that area eventually, anyway. On a vacation this week. Oh, where are you going? Where you going, Chris? Where are you taking us to? Yeah, all right. Anyway, I am. If you two, Robin and Peyton. Sorry, Peyton, you've been quiet.
It's all good.
Yeah, as I said, if it was up to me and I didn't have this four-legged creature running around with a fluffy white tail, ACP SAP, as I mentioned yesterday when we were on Dave's channel from HO Trains, if I didn't have Pixie here, I would have probably had trains running right throughout my whole Oh, house.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because the advantage of that is you can always change your track plan to suit, and you don't have to pull all the scenery part, eh?
Yeah. I'm
Um,
not keen on pulling track work apart. I like trying to get that done first so that it's out of the way.
yeah.
It's not my favourite job.
Yeah, well, it's not mine either. I prefer to do the scenery myself. I will have to tweak mine a little bit. I've been thinking about it, how I'm going to do it. Yeah, I just had a quick look at it. Somehow it will work, but it's not going to work, particularly with the scenery side of things. So I'll have to have a bit of a look now that I can actually start using the shoulder a little bit more without overdoing it. I'm just going to go and reevaluate the layout, take plans from that. So anyway, people, I'm going to call it quits here. You guys can hang around the basement if you want, Robin and Peyton. Now, next week, weather permitting, I will head up to the northern suburbs. As I said, I'm going to continue on with my historical walk and tour from where the railways was once upon a time, and gradually work my way up to the boundary before we had the big tunnels. I won't have my buddy here again next week because it's going to be in that funny cold place over in the west coast of mainland Europe. Him and Joyce. So hopefully, I wish them a safe trip, and hopefully, they're not going to be too drunk tonight. If he is, hopefully, someone can give us some incriminating photos. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming up. Thank you for your support. Have fun, stay safe, and see you all soon. Bye.
See ya.